Hi and welcome along to Saturday Sport. A few years ago, Auckland entrepreneur Jock Fremantle and his partners decided to build and market a New Zealand-made supercar. The Hulme is a hand-built machine that gives the feeling of driving a Formula One car on the road. Tom Conroy met up with Jock to learn more about this outstanding car.
Well, Jock, a Bear One feels like a racing car, looks like a racing car, but that's not the design.
No, it's not. It's meant to be a car you can drive on the road. It gives you the feeling of driving a race car. I don't think there's any other car exactly like it. It's unique.
With the prospect of having international appeal.
Absolutely. The car's been designed for export. For Europe, for the Middle East, for America, China, Japan, anywhere where people can afford to buy an exotic hand-built superb motor car.
Where did the idea originate?
Oh, that's a long story, but basically I got challenged by a friend of mine at Massey University 7 years ago now, to do something about the fact we had no car industry in New Zealand. They were teaching students how to design cars, and I complained that it was a waste of taxpayers' money, and they said, well, do something about it. And this is how the whole thing started.
And why did you choose this end of the market?
Oh, it's the only one we could be in. I mean, realistically, for New Zealand to compete in the motor industry, it has to be at the top end. Just like the super yachts. We make the best super yachts in the world. Why? Because they're the best. They're at the top end of the market. We need to be there as well.
All right, let's talk about the general construction, without giving away any of your trade secrets, of course. The body, first of all, how's that made?
The body's carbon fibre. It'll be what we call infusion moulded, which is a very high technology way of building things. Very light, very strong. Designed and put together by a team of guys that actually build the America's Cup boats. They're part of our team. Yeah.
Excellent. So is it amphibious?
We hope not. No, it's not designed to float.
Could do today in this weather.
Yes, well, in Invercargill yesterday it could have floated, but it didn't. Thank goodness.
I'll ask you next what's under the boot, because it's where the engine is. Again, you don't have to give any away trade secrets.
Oh, there's no trade secrets. No, what we've got in the back there is pretty well known now. We decided, because it's called the Hulme CanAm, this is called Bear One, which is our first test vehicle. But this is designed to progress onto a production vehicle, which will be called the Hulme CanAm. Denny won the CanAm Championships in 1968 and 1970, obviously won the Formula One World Championship in 1967. Most New Zealanders have forgotten what Denny did. He was if you go all around the world, Denny Hulme is an acclaimed name, famous New Zealander, just like Chris Amon, just like Bruce McLaren. Because of the CanAm, we decided it should have an engine similar to the original car, which was a Chevrolet V8. And so we've gone with the Chevrolet V8 in the back of it. It's a hand-built Chevrolet. It's titanium rods, forged pistons.
CC rating?
CC 7 litre. It's a big engine, 427, small block, very light, and with a lot of power, a lot of grunt. Chris Amon drove the car at Taupo, as you know, and he commented on the fact that it came out of the corner, it goes like it goes fast. Yeah.
So it's a long-distance cruising car, that's the design?
Absolutely. The car's designed to be able to drive. You could get in this car in Dubai and drive to Kuwait for the afternoon or the weekend and come back. Get in London, go to Rome for the weekend. It's that stable, that's that type of road car, and yet exceptionally fast. And if you want to go to the track, it will be a quick car on the track as well.
Were they originally designed to be a road car and then became a racing car? Is that how it evolved?
No, designed as a road car. We started to design road cars, and we've got 3 models planned. We've got the CanAm, which you're seeing and looking at. This is a car without a windscreen. It is a race car for the road, right? The second car will be the similar car, but with a full windscreen, wipers, so you can drive it like we are now, right? And the third car will be the Hulme F1, which has already been to England, it's already been to the Middle East, it's been to Shanghai in China, it's been displayed around the world. That's the car that gave us the ability to move ahead. Everybody wanted one. It was amazing. I mean, we've had an amazing reception. Absolutely fantastic. So we're excited.
You've had some good publicity in a well-known newspaper with this model that's got you a bit of circulation eyes.
Well, it is amazing. I mean, the team has put a great amount of effort in to get to where we are today. Absolutely amazing number of people. And to go on the front cover of the UK Sunday Times last Sunday and have another couple of pages inside full colour with a 2 million circulation. I mean, I don't know of any other New Zealand product that's done that, apart from maybe the America's Cup. I don't even think that was on. But I tell you what, the America's Cup and the Hulme are 2 things that can push New Zealand back up there, because they're both leading vehicles in their field. Absolutely exciting.
You mentioned the Hulme name, of course, synonymous with racing worldwide. The family, obviously, in support using the name?
Greta has been fantastic. She's a wonderful lady. I mean, I just don't think we respect or appreciate the knowledge that she's got of that era of the motor racing, era. She knows a lot. But now they've been fully supportive. They've given us approval to register the name. We own the name as far as trademark's concerned. And we want to protect that name. We want to keep it here in New Zealand. That's why we're going around the country. We've got a public company coming up. We're hoping to float a public company shortly. We want to keep ownership in New Zealand. I mean, the Hulme name is too precious to let it go overseas. We want to keep it here.
So how many investors have you got at the moment that are obviously risking some money?
Well, it started, as I say, 2003 was our first investors. I was the one that put the money up initially, and then some friends of mine came on board and put some money in. And we started with friends and family because they're all people I knew very well. And we got the car to the point where we had a show car, showed it in various parts of New Zealand. And then other people wanted to join us, so we went into through the Securities Commission. We got what they call, it's called a specialised section where you're very wealthy and you're a proper investor. It wasn't, they know what they're doing, right? These guys. Yeah. So we've got about Inky Tulloch's one of them, obviously. Murray Coburn in Queenstown, Stuart McLean, Mike Ward here at Autocare in Dunedin. There's only 7 in New Zealand, in the South Island. The rest are all in the North Island, or it's pretty really.
Are they as excited about it as you?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. I mean, they wouldn't have joined us. They wouldn't have put their money on at risk without that. Now we've got a running car, and we've got a huge interest around the world in the car. We're in a much stronger position now. Much stronger position, absolutely.
Has the interest given rise to advanced purchases?
Yes and no. Lots of interest, lots of people want to put deposits down. We're not taking deposits. One of the things, when I did this feasibility study in the very early days, I had to find out why so many supercar companies failed, because they do. And one of the reasons was they took deposits too soon, and the expectation of the customer went up, and when they delivered it, it didn't quite meet the customer's perception. Chuck Pelly, who's been an enormous help to us, who's one of the top car designers in the world, and Mark Aston. Mark was managing director of Morgan for 20 years. He's on the team. Both of them said, don't take orders, because you need to have a finished product so you can actually say, this is what you're going to get, right? Then there's no argument. And that's what we're doing. They will increase the value of the car, which is important.
What sort of production output would you expect once you have the models complete? Are we talking about a dozen a year and 50 a year?
We believe 25 a year is a very good number to attain for. Right? We'll start with 10 next year and gradually build up depending on demand. But 25 would be the maximum, I would imagine, that we could do in New Zealand without having ridiculous capital invested. And we don't want to do that. We want to make it profitable.
And when do you suggest the first completed roadworthy model will be available?
We'll have this, well, subject to funds coming in, obviously, when we go to the public float. This car will be developed over the next 12 months, and we'll have this car running by December as a complete, ready-to-sell car, going on a production, on a sales tour to Dubai. We've been invited to Dubai, we've been invited to Monaco, back to Goodwood, all early part of next year, burning the car, yes.
Lots of talk about the world economy at the moment, obviously. Smile on your face, you know the question coming up. Does it make you nervous about raising that public float?
It makes me nervous about raising the money, yes, of course it does. But we're not looking for large amounts of money, we're looking for $1,000 to $10,000. Subject to the prospectus being approved by the Securities Commission, that's where we want to go. So we're not looking for lots of money, and if you can't afford $3,000 to flush down the toilet, don't get involved. We want people that can afford to put the money up and not worry about it, right? Let's make it quite clear. This is not a high return, golden egg project. Hey, if it's successful, we'll make a lot of money. But if it's not, we don't know. And that's where it comes back to the economy. We don't know what the future for buying is concerned. That's the problem is risky. Yeah. I don't believe. I haven't talked to these people recently, so I've got to be careful what I say. But I've talked to them all a year ago. A year ago, we had hundreds want to buy the car. Now, we're dealing with people that have $1 million in their hip pocket and wondering what to do with it. That's our customer. And they're very wealthy, and I honestly believe that they're still there, particularly when the car's such a wow car. And it's spectacular.
So, I won't hold you to this, but the buying price for the first car would be more or less than 500,000?
We've set it in euro, 295,000 euro.
So it's about $500,000.
I think it's a little bit more with what the euro's doing at the moment. We're somewhere between 210,000, 220,000 pounds, 295,000. That's the price range we want to be in. Yeah.
And there's plenty of buyers out there. That's not an unreasonable price, is it, for a car of this quality?
Oh, absolutely not. In fact, it's a little bit below what it should be cost. I've got to be honest, because the cars are, it's not a cheap car to build. Carbon fibre, and even though the engine is, they say it's a production. It's not a production. It's a hand-built engine put together by one man, and it's not a cheap engine. It's not an expensive engine. It doesn't cost millions of dollars, but it's a very exotic engine. The gearbox, the best gearbox in the world. SEMA out of Italy. They put the same gearbox in Pagani's Andre, I believe, and I believe in the Koenigsegg. And so it's a very, very superb gearbox.